Welcome, everybody, to the Joe Lee Podcast, the only podcast that acknowledges that backup quarterbacks might be the future of the NFL if these starters keep dropping like flies. I'm Joseph, and as always, I am joined by
Lee. Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to our podcast for this week. And so what's going on this week? You just mentioned about the backup quarterbacks. So what happened in week 8?
Well, a lot happened during week 8. It's hard to pinpoint one thing that happened. You know, this is what we get when we say, "Oh, it's a slow week." But the next week is just like a lot of information. So basically, Dak Prescott is out. Kyler Murray is out. Who else was out? Zach Wilson. He wasn't out, but he got. Was he out or did he get benched? I can't remember.
I think he had an injury.
Okay. So he was also injured, and so Mike White started for him, and then there's one more, but I'm not quite remembering who it was. But
we also have Jameis Winston.
Oh, you're right. So Jameis Winston went down.
He got a season-ending knee injury, and so they had to play a backup quarterback. So that was that. And then we have another one. Forgot his name. We just talking about 3 of them. There's one more team. I don't remember which one is it. But as we go, I think we're gonna pick it up. So I'll kind of look at it.
Yeah. There's just so much that I honestly forget about some of the minor stuff, but. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been kind of a crazy week. We'll start with the first one because we just want to get it out of the way, acknowledge that it happened, and send thoughts and prayers to the people involved. So let's transition to that. So former Raiders wide receiver Henry Ruggs actually got into a car accident. He was driving under the influence, and he was traveling at 156 miles per hour, and he crashed into another car, and there were injuries, and there was one reported fatality. So,
yeah, I mean, it's really sad. So the moral story: never drink and drive.
Exactly. Just call an Uber. I know it sounds cliche when everyone is saying the same thing, but you can't be doing that type of thing. You're putting other people at risk. Just don't do it, man. Just ask for a ride from someone. Have a designated driver. No need to be doing any of this. So
yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at that, and we'll send our thoughts and prayers to those who are affected. All right. Back to the other NFL news. Von Miller is traded to the Rams. This was actually quite surprising. I didn't think that the Broncos would be doing something like that, especially because it seems like they're trying to rebuild, but you got rid of one of your best players. I was very confused about this move. What did you think, Lee?
What position is he playing? Because I know he's defensive.
Yeah, he's a linebacker.
Okay, linebacker. I don't know. I feel like maybe Rams' decision was to very, very much trying to solidify their defense, right? Because I think they also have player injury too. So they want to make sure that they can continue this winning streak, right? Because I think they were trying to do it so that way they can actually go for Super Bowl. I think that's our goal. I think that's every team's goal. So I thought that was good. But the issue is, do you know how old is he? I feel like he looks kind of old to me.
He's in his 30s. So I guess for the league, he's pretty old in comparison.
Yeah, so I don't quite understand this signing, but other than just to solidify this defense. But in response, I think the Niners also signed a defense end, Charles Omenihu from the Texans. And then in return, they give a future later pick to the Texans.
Yeah, in the past, he's been very good. There's an actual statistic here that during his Pro Bowl season, he had 21 pressures and 6.5 sacks. So he was pretty good, like at his peak. So I'm sure that they're just trying to add some like veteran presence to the Rams, or just trying to add some depth to the team. As we've seen, a lot of teams have been struggling with having backups, or when a starter gets injured, like it seems like it collapses a little bit of the defense in certain areas. So I think they're trying to I think the Rams are thinking that this is their Super Bowl year. They're not trying to build for next year, and so they're trying to get as much help right now so they can go and get the ring this year.
Yeah. I think this is definitely the year I feel like the Rams are really go for string. They're not messing around anymore, right? They gave up a lot to get Matthew Stafford, so I think they're definitely going for it.
The only, I guess, not a problem, but the only thing that I can think of would be like a downside is that they're trading a lot of their picks for people who are currently good right now. And not that everyone that they've tried to get is old, but they don't have a long time left in the league. Do you think this affects the Rams later down the line if they don't have as many picks for younger players?
Yeah, I do this. I do think that this is going to be an issue. We chat about this a little bit. I mentioned they're a little bit like the Los Angeles Lakers. Well,
yeah,
where they in off season they got a lot of pretty good players who are good back in the days, right? Probably a few years ago, but now they're in their 30s. So I'm just I don't know. Are you planning to win this season, or do you think this is gonna work out next season? So I feel they're right now. I think if they don't win this season, I think next season might be harder for them. And I think 2 years from now, I think it's even gonna be harder. And we just have seen that it's really hard to get back-to-back titles. So no team should stay the same, right? So I think right now this year probably will be good for them. I'm not so sure about next season and the following season.
Yeah, I agree. They need to really see if this is their year. If they can't, I would be a little more conservative about using my draft picks as fodder for players. It is a boomer bust type situation as a whole, not Von Miller himself, but
right. It definitely is, because they give up a lot of draft picks, and I don't know what they have next season. I don't think they have any first round picks next season either.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll probably talk a little bit more about this type of thing as the draft gets closer, which it's pretty far away, but as it gets closer, we'll touch on this again, and we'll remember the Rams situation.
Yeah.
All right. Odell Beckham Jr. excused from Cleveland Browns practice after drama. So I don't know if you heard, but his dad went on some social media and was saying that Baker Mayfield sucks, that he doesn't pass to him. And then Odell Beckham Jr. goes on his Instagram or Snapchat story, I don't know, one of those two. And he posts maybe this Baker Mayfield and Cleveland Brown things isn't working, and then immediately deletes it. The problem is that a bunch of people saw it before he deleted it. So yeah. What are your thoughts here?
I mean, I think his dad was amazing. He actually was able to manage to post videos, 11 minutes videos of where he was wide open and then the ball wasn't passed to him. And so I thought that was pretty good. But I don't know. To say that Baker sucks, he didn't pass the ball to him, I think that might be a little bit of a stretch. But at the same time, is that if you have a player that's not happy, why don't you trade him? If he's that good, then you keep him. But if he's okay, then why do you have to get to a point where you're okay, we have to bench him or not playing him and do nothing about him?
Yeah, it's hard because on the one hand, you want him to succeed in the team, but on the other hand, it's like, well, you can't succeed if you're not there mentally. Like if you're not synergizing with the quarterback or your teammates, like there's nothing that can be done. Now, is this like a Browns thing where like they have the talent, they're not using it? Or is this more of like they're just waiting for Odell to like be used sparingly, so like, you know, during clutch moments he comes up? Because the Chargers do something similar where like they only target like Keenan Allen unless it's third down, and so like I'm trying to see like who's to blame here, because you know Cleveland is Cleveland, so they're bound to mess up as well.
Yeah, and the thing is that he's like 29, like he's not getting any younger. So I think he's really looking for a team that will allow him to play really well and win the games. But I mean, Browns is not bad. They just like they're very unlucky this season so far. The team has been battling with injuries.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm having a hard time justifying what his dad did. I'm having a hard time justifying what he did. The trade deadline has already passed. It was not last night. Yesterday in the afternoon. Yeah. And nothing happened. So I'm confused. And then like the coach said something about like he told the other players like don't even act like he's here. He's like virtually not practicing with us. And I'm like, why didn't you just trade him? Why are you gonna release him? You're gonna cut him? Like, or are you just gonna hold him for the rest of the season? So it's just like I don't know what's going on. Like within no one knows, but like something's going on. I don't know if it's a coach relationship or if it's a Baker relationship issue, but it just doesn't look good, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Aaron Rodgers. We'll get to this one last because I want to talk. I want to talk about. I
just want to laugh every time when we have to talk about Aaron Rodgers.
Yes. So we'll talk about Derrick Henry. So,
yeah.
All right. Derrick Henry is out with a foot injury. What do you make of this? This is a horrible thing for any player.
I just feel like it was sunny the week before, right? Because they beat the Chiefs. It was amazing, and then came to this game. And he was out with the foot injury. And then a lot of people were like, oh my goodness, this is going to be a season-ending injury. And I'm just like, okay, if it's season-ending, I think this is it. Like, I mean, they might win their division, but I think the prospect of like winning a Super Bowl, I don't think is there. But some people say, it's possible it's season-ending, but it's possible that he might be back in 6 weeks or 7 weeks.
Yeah, he's supposed to come back. He's scheduled to come back a little bit after the regular season, which has a lot of people speculating that he'll be playing during the playoffs. Now, how do you think this affects the team? Do you think they're still as good, or do you think they go down a lot with losing Derrick Henry?
I think without Derrick Henry, I think they're just pretty average, to be honest. I mean, they rely on him a lot, right?
Yes, they do.
And so I think they might have to come up with different offensive schemes, so that way they can get more players involved, right? Because now missing Derrick Henry, the big piece there, it's gonna change the whole thing. So they need to figure out a way to win without him. But that explosiveness from Derrick Henry will definitely be missed by the Titans.
Yeah, so they signed Adrian Peterson, which was their previous running back, and he seems to be pretty good. I haven't seen too much from him. I didn't really get into the league like too much. Maybe the last 5 years is when I got really into it. But it seems that he's pretty good, and that they're going to use him for like the remainder of the regular season and hope that Derrick Henry comes back for the playoffs. So I think it should be a nice fill-in for now, and I think it'll fill some of the void of Derrick Henry. Obviously, like with a veteran like him, like you can't really expect him to perform at Derrick Henry's level, but at minimum, you're not having a backup fumbling or relying on relying on a bench player. So it's good that they figured out a signing to replace him for a little bit, but hopefully Derrick Henry comes back and we see some of that explosiveness during the playoffs. I think they're still pretty decent. Ryan Tannehill has actually been playing a lot better than the first couple of weeks of the season. He's looking pretty good, and I think the Tennessee's winning streak continues regardless.
Yeah.
Just don't lose to the Jets, which we'll talk about. We'll talk about the Jets.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll definitely talk about them.
All right. Kyler Murray didn't practice Wednesday, but says that ankle feels good. So Kyler Murray got injured, recently. If he doesn't come back, how do you think this affects the Cardinals?
I think they're gonna feel a little bit of a dip in their performance. I think they're not gonna be as good without Kyler Murray. Unless they have a very decent backup quarterback. I don't even know who their backup quarterbacks are. But I think this is going to impact them. But for me, it's good because they're playing against the Niners this Sunday. And Niners is looking for another win this Sunday. So without Kyler Murray, maybe the Niners will be able to capitalize on this. But I do feel like this is going to affect the Cardinals a lot without Murray on the field.
Yeah, I think a big part of why the Cardinals are really good is because of Kyler Murray. Just like his mobility, his ability to pass, just stuff that's becoming more regular in the league. But yeah, I definitely feel like the team won't be as impactful if they don't have Kyler Murray. They play the 49ers, which, no offense, is a weaker team. They're not great. They're on the verge of being good. They just got to fix up their mistakes and stuff like that. So hopefully the Niners do capitalize on that, but I do kind of feel bad for Kyler Murray being injured. I feel like whenever we talk about injuries, we always have to say we don't want anyone to be injured because it makes the games more boring for us to watch. If we don't have the best players out there, then you're just watching a bunch of backups play backyard football, and that just feels weird to me.
I mean, we can just go in and maybe we'll be the backups.
Yes.
Play one snap. And then
yes, I'll throw the ball, and because I'm so sure it'll hit the helmet and bounce off.
Yeah, and then that will result in an interception, right?
Yes.
Free pick six for other teams.
Yes. All right. Well, let's talk about your favorite, the guy in the thumbnail, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. So before we get into, kind of schooling him a little bit or ranting on him, tell me about your new favorite meme.
Oh, so this was funny. This new favorite meme here was he actually got sacked, right? He got tackled after he do a touchdown to his other teammates playing against the Cardinals. And it was just hilarious. I saw this thing on Twitter, and then I was like, "Wait, why does he have that? Had that facial expression? That was hilarious." So that was that. But they play a really good game against the Cardinals. I think this was a Thursday night game, right? It was very close till the very end, and I will get to how they won this game. That was amazing. What do you think about the meme? I think it was really funny because I sent you the meme, and then you were laughing too.
Yeah, it was a great meme. I think it happens every once in a while where Aaron Rodgers just makes this weird face, and everyone laughs at it, and it's because he's older, and you can see it on him, and when you become iconic, a lot of memes come out of you as well. So.
Oh yeah. Totally. It was hilarious. Yeah.
All right. Time to talk a little down on Aaron Rodgers, because apparently he got vaccinated, then got COVID, and then it turned out that he wasn't vaccinated. So he's actually going to miss this week's game.
Yeah.
I don't know who they play. Do you know?
They're playing against the Chiefs.
Oh, right. Yes, now I remember. Okay, thank you. So they're playing against the Chiefs. Do you think that he is like in a Kyler Murray situation where he's kind of like the reason why he's carrying the team? Or do you think that because he's absent, that the team will still continue strong?
I don't think the team will continue strong. I'm sorry, man. I don't think their backups are as good as he is.
Your boy Jordan Love. No, I'm just kidding.
No, sorry. I don't think so. I don't think Jordan is at that level yet. Like, I don't think Jordan Love is at that level yet. I think, I think the score will be very close. Like, I think without Aaron Rodgers, I think it could be one team got destroyed. At first, I thought it was going to be the Chiefs, but now I'm just feel like I don't know about this anymore. It could be the Packers that got destroyed again, right? So I really don't know. I just feel like the Packers is not as complete without Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that game. I guess we'll talk about it during our preview and predictions. But It sucks that he got COVID. And it sucks even more that he wasn't injured or he wasn't vaccinated, because that means like maybe other players got it. So I don't know, just a really weird situation. I don't know what to say. I don't want to make this political. I'm vaccinated. That's just my choice.
Yeah,
I wanted to go to school in person.
Packers is handling this very well. Like, they didn't really say anything. It was like, well, he got COVID. He's just not going to play. That's it.
Yeah.
It's really no drama about this. Yeah.
No, and I think Aaron Rodgers handling it well, too. Maybe because he's a veteran and he understands that throwing drama is pointless. But, yeah, I'm glad he's not, like, out there saying, like, oh, I should be playing even though I'm not sick and, whatever. So
Yeah. He's definitely handling it really well.
Yeah, well, we'll see. They're 5-1, so even if they do lose, doesn't affect them too much. They're still
they're actually 7-1 right now.
Oh wow. Yeah, it won't affect them too much then.
I think they're gonna win the division. Bears are not good. Vikings,
yes, they're not.
I don't know. They're not good. So I think even if they lose like 7 games, they will still win their divisions. That's just me.
Agreed. Mm-hmm. All right, Lee. So it is that time of the week where we unfortunately have to talk about our teams. So how did you guys do?
I think this was probably the best game that Jimmy G has had. Like, he was back home in Chicago. He basically was playing for the crowd because he had a lot of family members there and friends there to watch him play. So he showed up. He played really well. He threw over 300 yards. I think he had a completion rate of, like, I don't remember, it was like above 50%. So it was pretty good. There was no turnovers from the team. So that was rare because, like, the week before or the previous weeks, they were terrible, right? So there were some penalties, but this one, I would say the first half was really painful to watch because the offense wasn't going anywhere. So I was kind of like getting a little bit impatient watching the game. I'm just like, man, can we just have Trey Lance coming already? I just got so impatient. I say, like, look, if this is not going anywhere, then we should have Trey Lance come into play. Justin Fields, the rookie quarterback, he had a great game. Like, that was probably the first game that he had a lot of passes. He was good till the fourth quarter. I heard people were saying that this is how you tell the difference between a rookie quarterback and veteran quarterback. And so I think he was pressured quite a bit. So he actually, if I remember correctly, he actually do like interception or something. And so at the end, I think Niners actually won the game, which I was really happy about. Overall, great game. No, not too much to complain about. I think they just need to carry the momentum to next game against the Cardinals. And so with that said, how about yours? I heard you were super unhappy about your Chargers. What happened?
Okay, so I am super unhappy about the Chargers, and I'm going to need you to keep me in check here because I might get relatively angry. So, okay, I expect this team to be Super Bowl hopefuls with Justin Herbert. But when we drop a loss to the Patriots, a team that has a mid quarterback, a team that has no real identity, and a team that constantly struggles against weaker teams, like how are we losing? How are we losing? And I'm going to break it down to the simple things that I've mentioned in the past. The O-line and the defense. Those two things have come back and bitten us in the butt. And I just didn't understand the play calling today. Joe Lombardi did a horrible job. It was like we were in the Anthony Lynn era all over again. And Herbert was also kind of had like a slump. Like everyone's gonna say, "Oh, well, his sophomore slump is finally kicking in." Like, no, the play calling was just god awful. So here, I'll show you some stats of Herbert, and then I'll get into some of the other stuff that I think is more pertinent. So he only had 18 completions out of 35 attempts. He got 223 yards, and his completion percentage was 50%. So pretty much every time he threw it, it was almost a coin toss, whether he was gonna make that pass or not. Right. And he had a higher percentage in other games. Like every time he had higher than a 60, we ended up winning those games. Against Cleveland, he had a 60.5. We won that game. Against Las Vegas, he had a 65.8. We won. Against Kansas City, it was almost a 70, and we won that one. His production level has gone down in the last 2 weeks, and it's because the teams have figured out that as long as you pressure him on the right side of the O-line, that's the weakness of Justin Herbert, because then he's going to be pressured and he's going to try to either roll out of the pocket or try to extend the play, kind of like in the same vein Mahomes, but a little bit better because the left side of the O-line is actually decent. And so every time he gets pressured, he can't complete the pass, or he does like a mistake and throws an interception. Just look at the example where they had Jared Cook run a route. There was a miscommunication. Justin Herbert was pressured on that side, and he threw the ball straight at the safety. Like,
oh my God!
Why? Why are we making these mistakes? I don't understand. This team has veterans: Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Jared Cook, Corey Linsley. Like, how are we making these mistakes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's totally tough. So was it more like a running game for the Chargers, or more like a passing game?
So that's I was gonna get to that. So Joe Lombardi, his play calling the last 2 weeks, and this is not including the bye because they obviously didn't play, but has been atrocious. We've been on the run pass. The same thing that got us in trouble last season is what we're doing this season against teams that are lesser than us. Just sorry to all the Patriots fans watching, but we should not be losing games to the Patriots.
But do you think that Patriots figure out that that's what the Chargers were gonna do? Like they
probably
figure out, yeah, likely, right?
I will give the Patriots some credit. They have Bill Belichick, and he probably just outcoached Staley, and that was the thing that turned the tide to the game. He figured him out. with like 6 minutes, I was thinking, oh, okay, we could still win this game. You know, every play that the Patriots did was a pass, first of all, and and they stayed in bounds, so the clock went from 6 minutes to 1 minute left, and then their defense, all they were instructed to do was to keep us inbound, and that's what they did. And then the clock ran out. There was no chance of coming back after that.
Yeah, smart play.
The defense was awful. I don't even need to get into the defense because it's literally on the level of Kansas City at this point.
I hope that they're better than the Chiefs. I really do. It was really hard to watch.
It's pretty close. There's just go
ahead.
There was just so many plays that I just didn't understand, especially when we have Justin Herbert as our quarterback. He can throw. I am not understanding why we need to run two run plays at the same time. Austin Eckler is not the type of running back that's like Derrick Henry where you can run. He's more of like, you know, you can put him in a situation where the defense isn't expecting a run and you'll get major yardage out of it.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't want to continue on. Otherwise, I'm going to start making a lot less sense when complaining about the Chargers. That's my report. Yeah. They were awful. Right. They deserve this loss because they need to understand that if they don't fix the defense, which, by the way, we didn't trade for anybody during the trade deadline, which also sucks, and we signed another wide receiver. Why? We put him on special teams. He did all right. And then the kicker, I will say this. The kicker did good. 48 yards. I didn't even sweat. I didn't even sweat once during that game about the field goal. So I am happy about that. But
was it the same kicker, Vizcarino, or the other one?
No, Dustin Hopkins. Washington football team released him, and we signed him, and he's... Because I guess he wasn't good enough for like really long field goals, but he was good like for everything else. So like we just needed someone who was decent.
I'm glad. This is the first time you told me that you didn't sweat at all about the special team.
Yeah. So the special teams, like, good job. They actually fixed a couple of areas that needed work, but again, you can't be messing up the offense. It's really the only thing that we have going on right now. If the special teams is like weak or shaky, then the defense needs to make up for that. And if the defense isn't doing that, then the offense has to be the only good thing. Otherwise, we're not even a good team. Like, we're 4-3 now. Like, we could literally just drop out of the face of the earth and be a bad team.
Right. Yeah.
And I just hope that doesn't happen, because last thing I want to see is the Raiders and Kansas City in the playoffs and not the Chargers in the playoffs.
Oh, I mean, that would be a disaster. We're talking about a lot of changes to coaching staff, and you guys add a few good players. So that will be bad to see, right? So hopefully things will be better this week. Who are they playing against this week? Maybe we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it during the week 8 predictions. All right, so enough about the Chargers. I'm not trying to talk about them anymore, or about that week specifically.
Pretty upset, man.
I am pretty upset. They shouldn't be losing to the Patriots. All right.
Well, it was a close game.
It wasn't. It was a 2-score game, and we just scored a last-minute touchdown to make it seem like it was close.
Okay.
All right. So this week was pretty all right. So we had Green Bay at Arizona, 24-21. And just like we predicted, it was the most interesting game of the week.
Yes. Yeah, it came down to the last 15 seconds. So Kyler Murray was doing this, apparently should be a touchdown to a Pro Bowler. And then he didn't turn his back around to see where the ball is coming from. And then it ended up being interception. So once it was intercepted, the game was over. So I think Green Bay's got really lucky there. But I wouldn't say lucky. It was pretty good defense too, right? So the Packers won.
Yeah. So I guess I'll give the report on. I didn't watch too much of that game, but you seem to have, and it seemed like a
follow
pretty.
the highlights.
Yeah.
I was in class, so
Yeah. So the Bengals at the New York Jets, and wow, what an upset! The Bengals go from being the number one team beating the number one team in the AFC, being the number one team in the AFC, and then losing to one of the worst teams in the NFL. If we lost to the Jets, I think I would have thrown my Chargers jacket in the trash. But luckily we didn't lose to them. We lost to the Patriots, which is a little better.
But this is the game that you won, right? Because you actually really want the Bengals to lose this game.
Yes, I wanted the Bengals to lose to this game. I think I said last week that I found that to be somewhat improbable. But by the miracle of Mike White, here we are. And I was watching this game, and he came into the game, and he was just good. Like he wasn't Mahomes' like debut or anything like that, but he was slinging the ball around for a good 10, 15 yards. He was just getting completions, and he just made it competitive. I believe he is a third string quarterback.
Are you kidding me? It was good.
He got signed from the practice squad.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, this man went from zero to hero in like less than a week. So
you know what? He had like 405 passing yards.
Yeah,
405.
that's crazy.
And he of 45 passes, he completed 37.
Yeah, I was impressed. This guy showed up and showed out, and he probably got a starting job now. He's probably the starter for like at least the next week.
I mean, maybe next week and the following week, depending on how severe Zach Wilson's injury is, right?
Yeah. I don't even think that even if Zach Wilson comes back, I don't think they put him in. Like, did he have an interception? I don't have his stats on board, but
I know that he do a lot of interceptions. I don't think it's entirely his fault. I think it could be the offense was not good, so that could be it.
Let me see. I got his stats. Ooh, yeah, 4. Woo! But hey, he got the dub.
Mm-hmm.
So he threw 2 at New England and 2 at Cincinnati. But you have to remember that the 2, he still managed to win the game even with just 2 interceptions against the Bengals. So, Zach Wilson throws 4 per game, which is pretty bad.
Yeah.
I'll take 2 interceptions over 4 any day of the week.
Oh, I just don't know how it works this way. Like if we're the Niners, like if we do 2 interceptions, that was game over, basically. But this were to happen to the Jets. Wait, they win? How is that?
Yeah, the Jets can win.
Work? Yeah, I don't know. Like how does that work? Or if this happens to Tom Brady, they could still win the game, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So yeah, that was an interesting game. Let's see. The Tennessee Titans against the Indianapolis Colts. Tennessee figures out a way to win against the Colts. So my biggest takeaway is, wow, Carson Wentz has terrible luck. But
he was playing well, I think. I mean,
he's been playing well every game. It's just I don't want to say he's Phillip Rivers where he throws a pick at the end of the game and that turns it around for the other team, but it's getting to that level almost.
Yeah. Or it could be the defense line or the O-line is just still not good.
Maybe. Yeah, there's just some major stuff going on with Carson Wentz. I do feel like he's pressured a lot, so you might be right. It might be some O-line situation. So yeah, they maybe need to sign some more guys. I mean, the only reason a quarterback's ever like injured is because the O-line doesn't come through. So we've seen that with Mahomes. We've seen that with Russell Wilson,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's the reasoning of why he gets so many interceptions is because of the O-line or lack of.
He got like 2 sprained ankles or something like that.
Man, that man's always injured, and it's because he doesn't have protection.
Yeah.
All right. Rams at Houston. Massacre. Don't know what to tell you.
No.
Pittsburgh at Cleveland. This was probably the worst game of the week, by far.
I don't know what it is. Because at first we were saying that I think Mayfield was not going to play, and he ended up playing. They weren't good. They were not good.
This was ugly. Even if you're a fan of any of these teams, Pittsburgh just, my gosh, who can watch Big Ben and say they're watching good football? And then Cleveland just had a bunch of injuries. This was like second and third stringers out on the field. So it just says a lot about the state of Pittsburgh right now, and how bad they are. If the second and third stringers of Cleveland made it competitive against Pittsburgh. Yeah. Philadelphia versus the Detroit Lions. This was a really ugly game, and oof. Yeah.
I think Detroit's done. The Lions are done.
The Lions are done.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a coaching thing or a player's situation?
I do think it's players at this point. I'm sorry. I don't think the organizations actually invest a lot in players.
Yep.
Like, how could you be terrible for multiple seasons?
Yeah, I definitely think it's the org. They're either not wanting to go for, they're not wanting to trade. They're not wanting to pay people. They're not wanting to, pay the right people to find, good players. I don't know what's going on.
I just think it's very difficult because especially now you have Jared Goff. I think he's an okay quarterback, but with an okay quarterback, you just can't really go anywhere. I mean, the first couple of weeks they were playing pretty decent, but now I just feel like they're really not going anywhere, especially with the scores.
Yeah, it's hard because this league has actually started to form a lot of really good quarterbacks. So you can't be, you can't be mid anymore. You can't be throwing picks every game either. Like, it's a tough league. You have all these young quarterbacks trying to prove themselves, and then you have Jared Goff, which from some of the rumors we were hearing is that he's not very hungry for playing in the league. So, I don't know. It's hard because at least no one wants that job in Detroit as the starter.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. Maybe it's the right fit for him. Lazy org, lazy player. It seems like the coaches are trying really hard to at least get a win, but might be the perfect season again.
Give that guy a win. Give Dan Campbell a win. Come on.
The man's crying his heart out during every press conference.
Yeah, because he has a lot of passion about football and his team, but his team just can produce.
Yeah. Sucks.
Yeah.
All right, you talked already about San Francisco at Chicago, so nothing much to say there. Carolina at Atlanta. I didn't watch this game.
Panthers won, right?
Yeah, the Panthers won. I didn't watch this game. Don't really care. Didn't really care.
This game. I thought the Falcons had a chance, but well.
Yeah, like we said, it was a coin toss. Who was gonna win? And it seems like we were pretty accurate. The score was 19-13. So, yeah. Miami at Buffalo. We unitedly decided Buffalo was going to win, and that was the result. Nothing to say there. That Miami team is not looking good. I'm not saying that they need to rebuild, but something has to change over there.
Yeah, get Deshaun Watson. Come on.
It's too late. Trade deadline's over. They didn't even try.
I heard nothing really materialized for them. So
nothing materialized from the trade deadline, anyways. Maybe Von Miller was the biggest news, I think, and then Melvin Ingram.
The record, it's almost like pointless to trade for Dolphins. Like I'm pretty sure even if they go like 10-7, they're still not gonna make it into the playoffs.
Nope.
Because last season they were like what 10-6, and they missed the playoffs.
Yeah, they started out really bad as well, and then they started winning games towards the end of the season. But you can't really be doing that and expecting to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
All right, New England Chargers. We already talked about that. I don't want to talk about it again. Jacksonville at Seattle Seahawks. Oh my gosh, this was a lot less close than we thought.
Yeah, it was ugly.
Seahawks destroyed them. I think I mentioned I wanted to see Trevor Lawrence win, but didn't seem like today was the day either.
No.
Washington football team at Denver.
Did I kill this one correctly for the first time? The Broncos actually won this game. Wow.
Yes. They did it. They won. They won a game. Wow. Not against a very good team, but it's a win regardless. Yeah. Tampa Bay at New Orleans. You were actually watching this game, and you said that this was one of the better games too.
This is actually pretty good. They also had a backup quarterback who came into play. Unfortunately, their quarterback, Jameis Winston, he suffered like a season-ending knee injury, so they had to call a backup to him, to play for them. They actually did pretty well, and at the end, I think Brady actually threw a pick six.
Nice.
And so that sealed the deal for the Saints, and so they won the game.
Very cool. I'm glad Tampa Bay gets another loss. Keep them coming, please. Speaking of backups, it was rush time. Dallas versus the Minnesota Vikings, and
I listened to this on the radio while I was going to getting some coffee to get some work done at nighttime. Man, the Vikings was kind of leading at one point, and then they started trailing, and their offense wasn't going anywhere. And I was like, "Come on, Vikings, just get a first down. Come on." And then at the end, they just didn't have enough time, and so they lost the game. But it was a good job by Cowboys. They didn't have Dak Prescott for that game.
Yes, he's injured again. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he had a calf injury. I heard he was practicing earlier, but I think he didn't feel that good. And so the coaches were like, you know what, you're not playing.
Yeah. It wasn't as bad as last year. Oh my gosh, that injury last year was horrible. But still sucks to hear that he's down again. So hopefully he comes back, not this week, but next week. And ugly game between the Cowboys and the Vikings. If they played any team worth their salt, I think Dallas would have taken an L.
Yeah. I think they're pretty good right now. The Dallas is pretty good.
Yeah. All right. The last game from last week, New York Giants and Kansas City.
A close game. You were yelling, right? You were texting me like, "Hey, oh my God, there's 7-7. How is this possible?"
I do understand why the Chiefs suck, but my goodness, the stress that Patrick Mahomes must feel to carry this god awful team. If you're comparing yourself with the New York Giants, that means you're pretty bad.
Oh yeah, totally. And even though the Chiefs won this game, but it was not pretty for them because they made a lot of mistakes on their own. So if they were to lose this game, at the playing was it's pretty much on the team, not on the Giants, So
yeah, some ugly football. Hopefully the Chiefs get better. All right.
Yeah, one can hope, right?
Yes, one can certainly hope. All right, so NFL Week 9 preview and predictions, Lee. Let's do this. New York Jets at Indianapolis. Who do you got?
Can we go with the Jets again? Because they might be lucky. I don't think they're that lucky, but Uh, jeez.
If Mike White can keep the interceptions down to maybe one at most,
They might
I
win
think
this
they got a chance. They got a chance.
All right, so I'm gonna go with Jets. Even
I'm
though
gonna go with Jets too. I want to see them win.
yeah, they might lose this game, which is totally fine. But I think if they win this game, then there's something to be said about quarterback for real. Yeah.
Well, that division is so trash that I would actually like to see the Jets play some good football.
Oh yeah. Yeah, totally.
All right, Atlanta at New Orleans. Who do you got? I got New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Denver at Dallas. No Dak. Remember.
I think Dallas will handle them.
I think it'll be close, but I got Denver. I think they capitalize on the win on their weakness here.
Okay.
New England versus the Panthers.
Oh, they have the same record. I just noticed that. I think the Patriots will win this one somehow.
Yeah, I think they looked decent last week against the Chargers, so they better not lose to the Panthers. So I got Panthers. I got New England. I got New England.
Okay.
All right, the Vikings versus the Ravens. Who do you got?
Oh, I think Ravens will win this one.
Yeah, I think the Ravens will come back refreshed from their bye week, and they will clean house. I got Baltimore.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Bengals versus Cleveland Browns. Who you got?
Oh my god, this one. I think Bengals will get this
Bengals.
one. I'm sorry. I just feel like the Browns are so beat up right now.
Yeah,
I just don't think they will play well.
the Bengals are no Steelers, so they got to win this one. That's all I got to say about it.
Yeah.
Also, it keeps their playoff hopes alive.
Oh yeah, totally.
All right, Buffalo at Jacksonville. Buffalo.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
Not much to say there. Jacksonville sucks.
Yeah.
The Houston Texans versus the Miami Dolphins. This is the battle of the tanks.
Yeah, like they both are 1-7 right now. I don't know. I think Dolphins might win this one.
I think the Dolphins probably want it more than the Texans.
The Texans, yeah.
Yeah. All right. The Raiders versus the Giants. Who do you got?
Okay, there's no reason for Raiders to lose this one either.
Nope.
They should win this one. Yeah.
No,
Raiders.
I agree. Raiders have no excuse to lose this. Chargers versus the Eagles.
I think the Chargers should win this one too.
Chargers should win this one.
Yeah.
Keyword is should.
They must.
No, they need to win.
Yeah. Okay, that's more urgent. That sounds more urgent. So they need to win. Yes.
Like we're almost at a 500 percentage.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's not good.
You don't want
that's
to
not
be
good.
exactly at 500. Yeah.
No. It's always worrying because especially if Kansas City starts to win a bunch of their games, we could be knocked out of the playoff picture.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
I don't
the
want
Chiefs
that.
can be a little bit sneaky, right? Like right now, we're looking at the Chiefs who are like 4-4. Yeah. So yeah, the Chargers need to start winning games. You know.
Yes. Can't be losing those. Can't be losing games against weak teams.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the Packers versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
I still want the Packers to continue building up their winning streak. I mean, it doesn't really matter, in my opinion, but it's just nice to see that, Packers, despite all the drama at the beginning of the season, they're 7-1. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
But without Aaron Rodgers, I really don't know.
Yeah, the NFC standings don't really affect me too much. So, as much as I love Mahomes, as much I love the Chargers more. So, I need Green Bay to win this game, even though they don't have Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, you do need the Chiefs to start losing some games still. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
The Cardinals versus the 49ers. I already know who you got.
I'm gonna pick with the Niners. I think they have a good shot if they don't
Yeah.
stupidly like fumble the ball, do interceptions, and so on and so forth. I think they'll be good. Here's my thing. I do think that Trey Lance will play sometime during this game because last time when they play, I think Trey Lance started this game against the Cardinals like a few weeks ago because Jimmy G was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're gonna see like Trey Lance playing sometime this game. I think it was a close game last time, 17-10. It was the last game score when they play against each other. I think this one, if Jimmy can build up his momentum from the last game, I think they'll be good. I just can't watch them doing the run game nowadays because it's frustrating because like the 2019 run game was so solid. And then when you see like last few games where you see their running back keep running into a wall of defense and just like, what are you doing? Like, it's not working. Like, why you keep doing the run game? Or if you start doing passing games, you have receivers dropping the ball here and there. I'm just like, why is it not working with the running and passing? So we might just go home, like call it a day or something like that.
Yeah.
But so hopefully they will play better. Build up the momentum from last week's against the Bears and just win the game. I don't really care about how close the scores are as long as they win. Hey, a win is a win. I'll take that.
I agree. If Kyler Murray doesn't start, I think it should be a lot closer. Unfortunately, if Kyler Murray does start, I think you guys are in trouble.
I do think so too, unless we can pressure him.
Yes.
That's the thing. That's why we signed another a defense end.
Is Nick Bosa still injured for you guys?
No, Nick Bosa, he's phenomenal. He's been good. It's just like we don't have a lot of good defense linemen who can pressure the quarterback. Like he needs another player who can help him to pressure the quarterback. I think last week was funny because somebody like had him sign the jersey and one kid asked him like, are you going to get a sack today? And then he was saying that, I will try my best to get a sack. Yeah, so that was kind of cool. Mm-hmm.
All right. The Titans versus the LA Rams.
Ooh,
no Derrick Henry, but we do have Adrian Peterson. I think it'll be close-ish.
I want the Titans to win this game, to be honest. Because like he's in the division that I'm closely watching. And so I think if Titans can win this game without Derrick Henry, I think that's pretty good because Rams is pretty good, like a really good team. So,
yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, I'm going against you. Like I said, the NFC doesn't really affect me too much, but my dad is a Rams fan, so I will be watching the Rams game.
Yeah.
I'll be rooting for the Rams. So, unfortunately, I got the Rams this one.
Do you think it's going to be a close game?
Like maybe one score, one field goal. I think it'll be a 10-point game.
Or maybe like maybe like out by one touchdown or something.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think it'll be a good game. It'll be entertaining.
Yeah.
Just Ryan Tannehill's got to step up even further, which he's done in the past. So I anticipate this to be good. What I don't anticipate to be good is the Chicago versus Pittsburgh game.
Oh, terrible game.
This is going to be such a pain to watch.
It's so hard to watch them. I really don't know if Justin Fields will be able to be that good like last week. And I feel like every single week he was pressured so hard on defense. And so I don't know, but at the same time, Steelers are not that good either. So maybe he will have a good game, right? I don't know. I think this is going to be a coin toss again.
Yeah, I'm there with you. The thing is like I don't ever feel like it's really Justin Fields' fault for the team being bad. I just think it's a coaching, because they have Matt Nagy and he's been terrible the last couple years. And
he might be fired. He might be let go at the end of the season.
He's probably going to be let go at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's a weird team that they got going on there. I think Justin Fields is probably and Khalil Mack, the only two notable players on that team. And
yeah, I mean, Fields were not even supposed to play for them, right? Because they have Andy Dalton, he's injured, so
yeah, well, it's
they
good
don't
for
even
Fields.
have a proper starting quarterback, and so now Justin Fields is in.
I will take a Justin Fields over Andy Dalton any day of the week.
Oh, I would do that too. He's more mobile. He's young. I think he reads the field pretty well, and so if they're on the losing record, like 2-5, I mean, they still have a chance to play really well. But I just feel like in their own division, winning the division, I think at this point it's out of the window for sure.
I agree. Okay, so that wraps up the preview and predictions for week 9. And that also wraps up the show. Do you got anything else you want to talk about before we say goodbye?
No, I think last week was much better than the week before. Week 7 was completely like, where were we playing in the first place? Week 8 was like, oh my goodness, why are we playing like second string players? Like, are we having a playground player or something like that? We'll see what happens in week 9. I think week 9 will be interesting. Maybe we'll get some crazy stories coming out. Unexpected, obviously.
Yeah, we have some better games, and we have some new players, some old players coming back. So definitely an exciting week compared to the last two, or what we anticipated the last two to be, which were really boring. So yeah, hopefully it starts picking up through the second half of the season. The Monday night game, I don't know. I don't think I'll be watching, but there's a lot of good games on Sunday, and the Thursday game seems like fun because they're both similar level.
Yeah, I agree.
So that wraps up the show. Thank you for watching. I've been Joseph. This has been Lee.
I'm Lee.
And we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.